Well, hello everybody. Welcome to day 2 of Getting the Lead Out, where I have gotten 5 leads out so far. 5 miniatures completed. And I should point out that the reason 5 miniatures are completed in one day is that I'm on my summer break, and so I can paint all day. At least certain days I can. So you don't think I'm some sort of painting machine. Anyway, another way of looking at it is that I only got 5 minis done. And the reason is I've had to revise my ideas for how to paint them a little bit. I originally said I was gonna speed paint these, by which I meant sort of using the same sort of techniques as on the Reaper Bones last year. But I sort of didn't want to do that after starting these, because I discovered that these models are too good for that. They are, in fact, excellent sculpts and very nicely cast, very professionally produced, and I just don't want to paint them in a sloppy way, like I did with the Bones, because the Bones I don't care about, because they're well, the sculpts are good usually, basically for the Bones, but the casting is crap. So yeah, the only difference, I mean, compared to my normal technique, is fewer layers. I still use for these mostly layering dark to light, and you know, a few uses of shade washes here and there, but the main difference between these and the modern mini, I have a modern mini here for comparison. This is a Reaper mini. Now if I place the feet at the equivalent level of these two, you can see that the old model looks like a halfling compared to the modern one. So I spend less time putting many layers on. Another time saver is color choice. I'm not as picky. When I have a whole horde of guys to get through, I select colors almost at random. I just kind of, I paint one color. Say I paint this green on this guy, and I have it on my palette, and so I look around what else could be green. And well, for example, the boots on this one, I painted the same green, and you'll see later that, you know, a cloak on a second mini and a dress on a third use the same green. I just keep using that green on different models until I've used up all the paint, and that saves both time and money, because I'm not wasting paint that doesn't get used. So there is that corner cutting, which leads to things like this ranger with a light gray cloak. I mean, I'm imagining he's a winter ranger. He's, you know, you would think that if someone wearing a cloak when fighting would do it for stealth, so they would be a dark gray or green or brown perhaps, but yeah, no, I'm saying it's wintertime, so he needs a white or a light gray cloak to hide in the snow. I can justify anything. Well, now the remaining 7 here out of my original 12 are pretty far along, actually. You might not think it to look at them, but it's kind of illusionary, because I've done the hard parts. I've done the skin and the hair and the metallics. And for example, this one, it looks like there's a lot of unpainted stuff on her, right? A lot of surface area not coated, just primer. But it's actually just the dress. You know, it's one color and she'll be done. That's like 10 minutes work. Others are more complex, like this one has more stuff going on. Like I want probably to paint the tabard and the cloak different colors, so that will be different. And this guy has a sort of padded jack and the belt and the fur cloak and pants and boots, and they're all, you know, different things. So, and this one is probably the one I've done the least on. Oh well, I mean, this one is practically complete. It's just the cloak left. Moving on, I've primed these chicks here, and I've decided that they're probably post-apocalyptic, because this one with the sword and the hand crossbow doesn't seem very sci-fi. And also the hairstyle, which is pretty unique. In the front, I don't know if you can see it. Let's see where the focus is. In the front it's a mohawk, in the back it's a ponytail. You know, only in a Mad Max movie would you ever see that. Now this one could be just modern day, I suppose. She's wearing some sort of low-cut dress and Uzi, carrying an Uzi. And I thought she had thigh-high boots first, but then I saw there were garters attached, so must be stockings. And here we have somebody in a bathing suit and a really big pistol. Weird pose. I mean, sure, she's firing into the air to scare somebody or just to make a statement or celebrate or something. Why is she squatting while she's doing it? Is the recoil making her sit down? It might be, because this pistol is actually larger than her head. And here we have bikini wearing girl with rocket launcher. Makes sense. Perfect sense. And we have this thing. I just glued these pieces straight onto the raft, no pinning or anything, because I feel I'm not going to put any stress. It's not like I'm going to bend these or lift by this. I will always lift it by the raft. I will hold it like that, so there's not going to be any stress on these joints. And I thought the cargo should be in the middle. That would be logical. The guy with the paddle needs to sit on the side so he could reasonably stick the paddle in the water. And then for balance, the guard here is up front and slightly off to the other side of the raft. It's not a perfectly balanced composition, but hey. So, that's progression so far. As for what to prep next, I thought I would pick out some Ral Partha minis, because I've already painted or at least primed all the Grenadier minis. That was the smallest lot of the whole bunch, so I'm in the bag of Ral Partha stuff now. And I thought I would start with the packages that were from the personalities range. All of these are personalities. And we have the Elf Princess, we have the Unicorn with Rider, uncredited, and we have, what does it say? It says Bee, Bop, and Lulu. What it is 2 fighters and a thief of some description. Oh well. And finally we have the pièce de résistance, one of the most interesting models in my collection, the Evil Lord on litter with bearers. And so there's a big round litter here with carrying poles, and there's some sort of orc dudes carrying him, and here's the actual Evil Lord himself, looking very Fu Manchu. And there's some sort of throne. I'm really curious about what this looks like, so I'm gonna actually unbox this for you right on camera. What was this? Inspected by Packer number 4. See, they had quality control back in those days. So we have these 4 dudes. I don't know if they're orc. They look sort of like furry orcs, because the faces look orc-like, but the body is a more ape-like. So I'm not sure what they're supposed to be, but there's 4 identical ones, and they should be carrying this thing, which is a space to place the throne, and he's got a big cat and a big girl, a naked girl, lying there. Here's the actual throne, so that fits in there. And this is the back, which is some sort of winged, I don't know if this is supposed to be an actual person or demon or something that's been enslaved and turned into a throne, or if it's just supposed to be like carved to look that way. But clearly this slot goes in, this tab goes in this slot. It's a little, it looks uncomfortable for the Lord, I mean, to lean back on that. I mean, it's not providing back support. But we'll have a closer look at it and see. Now, as for the daily questions, what is the question of day 2? What is your favorite miniature from the last year that you painted? Why is it your favorite? Show it off. Okay, so I thought long and hard about this, and I think actually this one is my favorite of the ones I've painted recently, the Ice Troll. Why is it my favorite? Well, I just like how it turned out, and it was kind of not really planned or thought out. It just happened to come together really well. It was a mix of, it's kind of subdued, but at the same time it really pops in the colors. I just sort of lucked out. I experimented a bit, and I found something that worked, and I just liked the sculpt of the mini a lot. It's a very dramatic, interesting monster, and yeah, so I don't know how to explain it else, but it is one of my favorites. So that was day 2. Join me tomorrow for day 3. See you then.